Hey everyone, welcome to thegameraccess.com. My name is Tammi, also known as Tracer within the TGA team because yes, if you haven't already noticed, I am the resident TGA Brit coming at you from across the pond. So this, lads and lasses, is my very first ever top 10 lineup for Game of the Year. And what a bloody year it has been. With the eagerly anticipated release of the Nintendo Switch, teamed really nicely with Zelda Breath of the Wild as their first release title, we kind of knew from that moment on that Nintendo were coming for the number one spot. And they were coming for it hard. With the yays always come the nays, and it seems to me that the prominence of loot boxes in 2017 for full price games has only added to the sweeping epidemic across this industry. With some titles, this doesn't apply. You don't need to delve into the rabbit hole that is the loot box system just to make progression within your game. However, on the epidemic's current trajectory, it's seeming to only be looking one way for full price games, and that way, my friends, that way does not look pretty. So, without further ado, let's all get cozied up, let's pop the kettle on and brew some tea, and let's all get ready for my top 10 Game of the Year 2017. Number 10, Destiny 2. As someone who just didn't get the buzz of the first Destiny, I fell hard for its sequel, probably a lot harder than what I ever thought I would. I was able to follow the story well, not really knowing anything about the prior game, and furthermore, absolutely nothing about this power-inducing traveller. I found myself relating quite well to the characters. However, I couldn't help but feel a little disappointed that you as the player are a voiceless being. I felt that slight disconnect with my own character, but what really mattered most to me was how well I could connect to everyone around me. This also goes without saying, but this, to my eyes, is an incredibly good looking game. The shooter engine that Activision and Bungie use feels incredible. It's sharp and on point, and nothing about it felt lazy, which is ideal considering the majority of the adventures meant battling waves upon waves upon waves of various enemies. If you are into this style of gameplay, it's perfect. And luckily for me, I am. Number 9, The Evil Within 2. Yeah, this has surprised me probably just as much as it has you. I didn't expect to love this survival horror game this much. Being forced to always being on the back foot and making sure that every shot counts, the game has me gripped. I physically feel exhausted by the time I stop playing it. It's as if I've been right there in union with our protagonist Sebastian Castellanos. It's an intriguingly weird world with various enemies and more so, even more interesting ways to find yourself in a fight which can happen at any given moment. The world lends itself for you to explore, which for me as an open world lover couldn't be any better. Number 8, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. As a 27-year-old, a little piece of my childhood was remade this year, so I genuinely couldn't make this list without letting Crash finally have his moment. The fantastic Vicarious Visions did the most amazing job at polishing the audio and visuals. It looks and feels like the Crash I remember, just so much better. As platformers go, you can never really go wrong with Crash. The amount of times we have all come close to launching that system out of the window and getting that final feeling of elation when you beat that first ruddy water level is freaking amazing. I still, to this day, get stuck on the exact same levels as I did before, and this is what makes it so perfect to me. Number 7, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. Hellblade is a beautifully crafted game. The audio design is second to none, and it launches itself into a whole new direction. You absorb the anxiety as it heightens, and what Senua feels becomes what you feel. You become Senua. Even though at times it can leave you feeling like you are in a very dark, lonely and confused space, The elements of light are incredible, and what they do, they really drag you out of the darkness that Senua familiarises herself so well with. Number 6. Fortnite. Specifically, Battle Royale mode. This game is incredible, this mode even more so. There is nothing like the feeling of getting to that last ring, having lost all of your shield in a previous gunfight, leaving you no time to go resource hunting and building yourself a fort made out of the last house you destroyed whilst hunting down that glorious chime of a loot chest. Sheer anxiety inducing. And boy, nothing feels better than seeing that number 1 victory royale. Number 5. Mario Kart Deluxe 8. Having been the only Switch game this year that I've managed to get my grubby little paws on, I had literally the best time ever. Multiplayer using the Switch controllers is smooth, it's slightly small in the hand, but nothing you can't get used to after a couple of rounds. So much of the nostalgia of its predecessors, but just with that extravagant new flair. I mean, it's a Mario game. Nintendo, they've nailed it again. If smiles per second were part of the rating process, then this would win hands down. Number 4. Call of Duty World War II. It seems I've done the unspeakable. I've gone and named a Call of Duty game in my top 10 list. I, however, love this game. The campaign is stunning and it's surprisingly fast-paced in a slower-paced setting. I really enjoyed the satisfying quick cycle of the kill, death and respawn of the multiplayer matches. In a way, don't we all? It was about time that we got back to the old COD roots, no more jetpacks or crazy ass weapons. I was so ready for this switch up, it's been so long overdue. I have very little bad to say about this game. I think it's definitely rekindled my love for the franchise. Number 3. What Remains of Edith Finch. If you're looking for atmosphere, then this game has it in abundance. It's incredibly akin to the gem that Firewatch became last year. It's really well written and beautifully crafted. The world around you feels as if it's been lived in. It's a surprisingly moving game about love, family and fate. It's creepy yet reflective. It's definitely not classed as horror, but it does make you stop and think. The joy here is within the story itself. Learning how each of the Finches met their demise, yet these memories you find yourself in are so full of love and light. With something as heartbreaking as the death of a child, the way the story presents this is so full of magic. As you wander through the labyrinth that is the family home, you find yourself faced with various puzzles. The mechanics of the game clearly come second to the story, as it's just not what's important here. Enjoy the writing. It's simply the most perfect way to lose yourself for a couple of hours. Number 2. Life is Strange Before the Storm. Yes, we know awkward dialogue is array with the series. However, the emo kid that still lives inside me relates somehow, just a little less cringy. The first Life is Strange struck a huge emotional chord with me and I wasn't ready to let go. Maybe that's why Before the Storm has ended up as my number 2. I guess I grew attached. Irregardless of attachments, I'm very much looking forward for episode 3 to be released on December 20th. I'm ready to delve into that story just that little bit more. Number 1. Horizon Zero Dawn. This post-apocalyptic creation of wonder takes you on a journey that's just so full of questions from start to finish. I remember the debates I would have with friends about how the world came to be when it first came out. We were throwing some serious theories out there, guys. Was it a Big Brother type S scenario, or did the rise of the machines just completely annihilate humanity? As to where the story was going, not one of us nailed it. It did a complete 180 to what any of us even considered. The animalistic characteristics, whoa, say that fast 5 times, of the machines are amazing and they really nailed their movements. The combat system is really snappy, and I thoroughly enjoy getting to know how to take down each one of the various machines, whether that be by overriding a little minion to help kick some ass, or tripwiring the absolute crap out of the surrounding areas. Oh, and don't even get me started on those cauldrons. It felt as if you were venturing into the gladiators' arena, refining your skills ready for what could only be described as David versus Goliath. It's so freaking beautiful. The world feels full of life, and on many occasions I found myself just standing still taking it all in, which leads me really nicely to my next point. If for some reason I actually needed a break from the world, then the inbuilt camera system was so much fun. Getting that perfect shot of Aloy in the right angle with the right lighting and then messing around with those filters, it left me entertained for hours. I am well and truly in love with this game. Aloy is fantastic. She's the best lead protagonist I've come across, and as a female, she well and truly takes pride of place in my #1 spot for best female characters of all time. Yeah, I went there. Okay, right, so some of the dialogue can get a little ropey at times, but that didn't take away from the experience for me. I still felt that Aloy is strong and independent, and she does what she believes to be right, all whilst not showing one little bit of cleavage. Good on you, gal. Gorilla, you really did us proud. You truly knocked it out of the park, and you gave me something so exciting to look forward to this year. With all of that being said, thank you, Gorilla. Thank you. So that's it then, guys. My top 10 Game of the Year list for 2017. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Are there any that you personally would swap out? I also want to know what's your #1 this year. Let's have a chat down in the comments. I'll see you down there. I'm sending you all of my love from my house to yours, and I hope you all have a fantastic new year. And let's get ready to bring on 2018.